Hello again. So again, I'm Becca. I'm going to be your service leader today. And excuse me if I'm a little off sorts. I have contacts, wearing glasses again, so I'm trying to get my bearings of where we are. I'm just so happy to see everybody here today. It's a special day for many reasons. Mother's Day and us being all together, and y'all are really my gift to me here. It's wonderful to be here. There always has to be one person yelling from the crowd. Thank you very much. So the chalice lighter in the sanctuary today is a mystery. If anybody knows who the chalice lighter is. Leslie, wonderful. Thank you, Leslie. We're very excited for Leslie, yes. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. This morning, we pause to honor Mother's Day. We celebrate those who mother by birth, by choice, by heart, and by community. We hold tender space for those who grieve, who long, who remember, who wrestle, who release. May this be a place wide enough for your whole story. We light our chalice in honor of the mothers and mothering that somehow got us all here today.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
It is now time for all ages. I don't have a microphone over here, so I'm going to talk really loud. This morning, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have a song that you all can join along and sing with. So if you are a child or of any particular age at all, if you'd like to come up here and join me, we'd like to have all the kids up here in front so you can sing along. Again, doesn't matter how old you are. If you think you're a kid, come join me. I'm going to teach you a neat song that you'll be singing for the rest of the day, whether you want to or not. All right, I'm going to sing the first verse, and then you can sing along with me. Here's how it goes. It's simple. Sit down and relax. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Probably not the toughest song you've ever had to learn. Every verse in this song, we're going to add a little something to the hole in the bottom of the sea, okay? So, let's go ahead and sing that first verse together, and then we'll start adding stuff to it, okay? Here we go. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now we're going to start off by putting a log in that hole. We don't want the water to run out, so here we go. There's a log in the hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a log in the hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Okay, let's put a log on that log.
have something, so the kids made flower pot pan. And you have two. Yeah. 1, 2, 4. You got yours too. Hello. What? I'm told the kids need to stay up here so they can drop the stones later. Oh, yeah, right now. We're doing joys and concerns right now. Okay. I'm Millie. I won't be singing the joys and concerns, and I didn't bring my guitar. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a member of the Pastoral Care Circle. I'm a short person. I'm wearing a lot of gray today, gray slacks, a jacket with a lot of gray and cream color and blue, and a cream colored turtleneck that you can't see because I always wear my blue scarf because I'm always cold. Okay. To share joys and concerns is to practice holy imagination, to envision ourselves as caregivers in one another's stories, to empathize with the experiences of others that have brought joy and sorrow, to hope on behalf of or alongside one another. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you may send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone 417-883-3922. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. We honor each joy or concern with a stone dropped in a shared bowl of water, representing the ripple effect in all our lives. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love all of us, those present and those absent. We drop a stone for our church community. We have several joys from Pharaoh. For a week on the beaches of Mexico, doing yoga and meditation with wonderful women. And I also give thanks for the health of my children, my transition to the single life, and this church community. Love you all. We drop a stone for Pharaoh's joys. Let's see what's in the chat box. From first UU to everyone, virtual thanks for our children to all who are mothers today. Virtual thanks from our children to all who are mothers today and all who love others in any form. I think that's all the joys and concerns we have on chat. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We drop a stone for all who are impacted. In closing,
For those joys and concerns that remain unspoken, we drop a stone. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. And now let us join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life. Excuse me, but I see that I missed a joy from Mark McGinn. A joy that a fellow Chicagoan has been elected Pope Leo XIV. May he bring Christian nationalists in line with those of us seeking social justice and peace. Jennifer Joplin.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of love, come to me, come to me.
Today's words of invitation are a prayer for imagination by Rosemary Watola Tromer. There are so many boundaries in me, so many limitations, prisons, places where a line has been drawn, perhaps by another, perhaps by me. The lines say, stop. The lines say, don't be curious. They say, make yourself small, now smaller. But imagination is the big pink eraser that rubs out the lines, smears and disappears them. Sometimes it's more like a tear, a small rip in the known that bids me look through the lines as if peeking through a curtain. And sometimes the imagination takes a line and bends it, twists it like a clown with a balloon until what I thought was a boundary becomes a bird, becomes a crown, becomes a flower, or it turns the line perpendicular. So what I thought was a deadline actually becomes a path. I want to listen to the voices beyond the boundaries, want to open to what I can't yet see. I want to hear the welcome of the horizon and like a bell calling me home, let it lead me. Our hymn for the month of May is Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. It's number 301 in the gray hymnal. The words will also be available up on the screens. You may stand or remain seating to join in the singing.
Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly. Over the ocean, over the land, our faith a quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky. Children ask the reason why. In our lives the answers show, and by our love they learn and grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky. Children born and all will die. Life's the time left in between to follow a star, to build a dream. Touch the earth, reach the sky. Hug the laughter, feel the cry. May we see where we can give, for this is what it means to live. Touch the earth, reach the sky. Soar with courage ever high. Spirits joining as we fly to touch the earth, to reach the sky.
This week in UU history, Florence Nightingale was born on May 12th, 1820, in Florence, Italy. Her family were distinguished British Unitarians. She trained as a nurse and was superintendent of a London hospital for invalid women. The Crimean War began in 1853. Florence volunteered to nurse the wounded. Accompanied by 38 nurses, she set up a barrack hospital which focused on cleanliness and reduced the hospital mortality rate drastically. She devoted many years to Army sanitary reform and to improving nursing and public health. Her 1859 book, Notes on Nursing, went through many editions. Florence Nightingale died in 1910. Offering our gifts to support the work of building inclusive and just communities is one of the many ways that we live into justice and equity together. Some of us have much to give, and some of us have little, and together it is enough. We are enough to work together for a world where every human can live into their best and most authentic self. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you are on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory is The Rose by Amanda McBroom, performed by Paul and the choir.
Thank you, Paul and John and the choir. I practiced not crying. Well, actually, I practiced crying while they were practicing, and then I didn't cry now. So that's a deeply meaningful song in my life. Good morning, friends. I am Reverend Michelle Scott Huffman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the minister here at First UU. I am a average height woman with short, spiky, salt and pepper hair, wearing black and white plaid, of course. This month we're talking about imagination, and last week we talked about the idea of prophetic imagination. That if we cannot see a different future, we also can't live into a different future. And so it takes imagination for us to get any sort of transformation in our lives. There's a kind of magic in the mind, a spark that creates whole worlds before we've even opened our eyes in the morning. This is the gift of imagination, the sacred faculty that lets us envision justice, dream beauty into being, and connect to one another through poetry and possibility and prayer and all of the different ways that we connect with what we hope can be, but what is not yet. But what happens when that same imagination runs wild? When it builds stories that trap us instead of setting us free? Andrea Gibson, in a recent poem about grief and healing, describes a moment where anxiety and imagination collided. In the swirl of uncertainty, they couldn't tell whether their thoughts were prophetic or panicked, whether their gut was guiding them or gaslighting them. What if that voice, they ask, is not fear, but intuition? And what if we've gotten so used to imagining worst case scenarios that we forget the voice of hope entirely? It's a question that haunts many of us. Imagination is not neutral. It can liberate or limit. It can be holy or harmful. Left unchecked, it spins falsehoods and fears until we're drowning in stories that aren't even true. The conversation about what a rogue, negative imagination can do isn't just modern pop psychology, it's ancient wisdom. And it's been addressed in many of the world's religious, spiritual, and ethical worldviews. In the Buddhist tradition, this runaway mind is called the monkey mind. It tells us we're not safe, not loved, not enough. And the path of mindfulness offers us a way back. One of my favorite authors, Elizabeth Gilbert, has said, "I am burdened with what the Buddhists call the monkey mind. The thoughts that swing from limb to limb, stopping only to scratch themselves, spit and howl. My mind swings wildly through me, touching on ideas, dozens of ideas a minute, unharnessed and undisciplined. You are, after all, what you think. Your emotions are the slaves to your thoughts, and you are the slave to your emotions." The practice of right view teaches us to see clearly, to name our fears without becoming them, to return breath by breath to what is real. Likewise, Sufism teaches that imagination is a powerful force, but only when refined. The ego, or nafs, distorts the world, wrapping us in stories of separation and control. But beneath that ego self is the hima, the purified heart intention that allows us to perceive divine truth. Rumi says, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." But we only reach that cure if we stop letting our imagination be steered by fear and start letting it be shaped by love. And in many indigenous traditions, the stories we tell about ourselves, about the land, about each other, are sacred medicine. As one Dene elder warns, if you tell the wrong story about yourself or your people, you will live the wrong story. Imagination, when colonized by trauma or untruth, becomes a weapon against the self. But storytelling in harmony with Hojo, balance, beauty, right relation, can restore what is broken. These traditions don't demonize our imagination. They revere it, but they remind us that it has to be rooted in something, or it can go astray. What if we root our imagination in awareness, mindfulness, humility, love, hope? I wonder if there's a way, like ChatGPT, we might put those words into our mind at the beginning of the day and say, please filter all of my conversations and all of my thoughts through these concepts. Maybe you've seen this play out in your own life. A friend doesn't respond to a text. Hours pass. I might be that friend, by the way. Then a day. Your mind starts to fill in the blanks. Maybe they're mad. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe they don't care as much as you thought. By the time they get back with you, your imagination has written a whole novel of betrayal. And none of it is true. They were just busy. They were somewhere without a signal. They were in the middle of something else. They were thinking about the best way to respond to you. Or maybe you've stood in front of a mirror and heard that quiet, cruel voice say, you don't look right. You're not enough. You'll never be enough. That voice doesn't come from your soul. It comes from a story you were taught. It comes from cultural conditioning, systemic shaming, 1,000 ads and assumptions that wormed their way into your imagination until you started believing them and thinking that you had to have something that was out of reach before you would be whole and full and enough. Or maybe it's more collective. Maybe you've watched your community imagine an us and them. Watched fear feed stereotypes. Watched false stories justify violence. This is what the Sufis mean when they talk about the nafs, the ego that imagines the worst in others because it doesn't know how to sit with discomfort in the self. In these moments, we're not just imagining, we're misimagining. And the consequences are real. It affects our relationships. It affects our work. It affects our sense of joy and contentment in our daily lives. It affects all of those things, and we don't have to let it. This is where our spiritual practices matter. When imagination becomes distorted, we don't need to shut it down. We need to recalibrate it. Remember, the Buddhists teach us to return to the breath. The Sufis teach us to return to the heart. Indigenous elders teach us to return to the story, realigned with balance, truth, and community. Imagination is like fire. Left unattended, it will burn down everything in its path. But tended with care, it becomes the hearth around which we gather. It becomes the hope for tomorrow. It becomes the gift that we give each other when we don't know what else we have to share. And we are all always capable of returning to truer imaginations. This is where Andrea Gibson's poem offers such fierce, tender hope. In that moment of crisis, they didn't banish their imagination. They listened to it more carefully. They listened beyond the noise of fear until they could hear the whisper of intuition. And in doing so, they remembered who they were. They remembered what was real, because prophetic imagination starts with what is real and goes to something that can be real. So that's the work, not to silence our imagination, but to sanctify it. And for those of us who have been harmed in Christian spaces, this is an opportunity to reclaim a word: sanctification. How do we sanctify the imagination? We do it together. We test what's in our imaginations and ask people, does this make sense to you? Does this seem possible? Can we bring our resources together to live into this thing? Or have I gone astray in some way? Because imagination works best in community. We name the false stories about who belongs and who does not, who is worthy and who is not, who is dangerous, who's disposable. And we refuse to let those stories have the final word. With grace and patience, we call one another back in when imaginative narratives divide us further and further. In our Sunday services, we practice remembering what's real. We sing ourselves back to hope. We speak words that open the heart and open the mind. We reclaim sacred stories, not to escape the world that we live in right now, but to reimagine it more justly and to remember that millennia of ancestors before us have struggled and come through. In our spiritual practice, we slow down long enough to listen, to breathe, to center ourselves in our bodies and our minds, to listen for the still small voice that rises up when fear finally gets quiet. And because of that, in our daily lives, we ask better questions. What is it the people say about before you say something, think about, is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? Is this thought rooted in love or fear? Is this story helping me to heal or keeping me stuck? Does this imagination lead me toward connection or away from it? Let us become, as Walter Brueggemann put it, and as I shared last week, a people of prophetic imagination. Not just imagining different policies or different futures, but different ways of seeing and being. Ways that are not confined to the small, predictable, sanctioned dreams of empire, ego, or profit. Ways of seeing shaped by justice, by tenderness, by truth, by love. The wisdom traditions have all told us in their own words, your imagination can be your prison or your liberation. It can make monsters out of your neighbors or kinfolk out of strangers. It can isolate you in falsehood or lead you home to your deepest knowing. So let us not fear imagination, but let us not follow it blindly either. Let's tether it to truth. Lace it with love. Let's not just imagine what's possible, but what is sacred and holy and what gives life to us and to others. Because imagination guided by spirit and anchored in community just might save us. So, beloveds, when your mind starts spinning and the story seems stuck, when fear masquerades as truth, pause. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to the circle of voices that remind you who you really are, and begin again. To imagine what you hope. To imagine what connects and is true. And may your imagination be a compass and not a cage. May it lead you home to yourself, to each other, to us, and to a world remade in love. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Our interlude today is Morning Has Broken, with words by Eleanor Fairjohn and music arranged by Cat Stevens. It's going to be performed by Paul Ferris and you, the congregation. The words will be on the screens.
Talk amongst yourselves for now. It's the words we're working on, not me. Our closing words today are part of a blessing by John O'Donohue from his really awesome book, To Bless the Space Between Us. Highly recommend that one.
May your imagination know the grace of perfect danger, to reach beyond imitation and the wheel of repetition, deep into the call of all the unfinished and unsolved, until the veil of the unknown yields and something original begins to stir toward your senses and grow stronger in your heart. Our final hymn is This Little Light of Mine. It's number 118 if you have a gray hymnal near you, or the words will be on the screen. You're welcome to stand if you'd like. And if you want, you can remain standing after the hymn for our chalice extinguishing and unison sending words, just so you know there's no way you can get it wrong. Stand, sit, move, do whatever you want. It's all going to be fine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Good job.
Hey, y'all. If Leslie would come and extinguish our chalice, we will now extinguish our personal, for those folks who are at home on Zoom, and communal chalices, and close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Go in peace.